which aims at restoring Lake Tana from the invasive weed of water hyacinth. The coalition has been keenly working to raise funds from the diaspora community and contribute its share for the restoration of the lake. And today I have Dr. Kibret, the chairperson of the coalition and researcher in University of California. Doctor, welcome and thank you for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
What triggered you to establish the coalition, and when was this coalition established?
The major objective why the coalition was established is to help support the restoration of the lake. Sorry, after the news of the water hyacinth infestation of the lake broke out last year, people in the diaspora they wanted to help on the ground activities that people are trying to contain the infestation. So what we did was we tried to put together professionals, environmentalists, aquatic hydrologists, aquatic scientists together so that we can form a global platform where all Ethiopians all over the world can support the activities here. So that's how it was established in August 2017.
So you have been working to establish this thing, and I think you are successful. So can you tell us the magnitude and the extent of the challenge that's posed on Lake Tana?
The magnitude of the problem is huge, and it requires an in-depth study, because Lake Tana is the largest lake of Ethiopia, and it's a huge, it's more than 30,000 square meters wide lake. So to look at this lake, it needs an institutional support. Both governmental and non-governmental institutions should work together. So the major objective of containing the situation around the lake, it's not only the water hyacinth that's infesting the lake, but also there are water quality issues with the lake. So we need to work towards restoring the situation. So the first thing is controlling the water hyacinth infestation. But the second and the long-term issue should be how can we prevent from these things from happening. And to do that, there are issues of erosion. There is a huge sediment joining the lake every year, millions of tons of the lake, the soil joining the lake. And this affects the whole ecosystem of the lake. So our objective is in two phases. The first phase is how can we contain the infestation? How can we remove the water hyacinth so that people around the lake can live freely and the ecosystem can be restored. And the second phase, and long term, is how can we prevent this from happening? How can we restore the lake so that we can have a healthy ecosystem?
So you are following a prevention approach to tackle
Yes.
the problem.
Yes.
That's a good thing, actually. But can you tell us your major achievements as a coalition started?
Since we started the coalition in August last year, what we achieved is the first thing was to establish ourselves as a legal institution, which we achieved. So we registered the institution as a non-governmental, non-profit organization in the US.
Okay.
And following that, we made several trips to Bahar Dar, to the lake area. I came here in September 2017 to study the magnitude of the problem and then discuss the recommendations with the environmental authority of the region. So we sat down with the regional environment experts and listed out activities that need to be achieved and what are the gaps so that we can help on those gaps. So the major key items that came out of those meetings were we need machines. Pulling the water hyacinth with hand, it's a tedious exercise. So we need machines so that the removal can expedite.
Okay.
So what we achieved so far was I went back and we did fundraisings all over US. So we did one in Washington, D.C., where we were able to raise over 150,000 US dollars.
Okay.
And we did another in Atlanta and Israel, where we were able to raise over 50,000 US dollars. And we did another in New Zealand, where there are few Ethiopians there who are very devoted for their country, and we raised over 12,000 US dollars. And just yesterday, there was a huge fundraising in London, where Ethiopians in London come together to support Lake Tana. And so all this together, what we have now resources to buy the machines, and then our exercise was we have a scientific committee which looks at which machines are needed for the lake. So our the members of our scientific team came in December and studied which type of machine and what other control measures other than weed mechanical removal can be used. So we bought the first machine and it arrived about a month ago, and it's now working at the lake. So that's the first, our major achievement. The second one is we are on the process of buying another a heavy-duty machine, which has over 125 horsepower, which will come and work on areas where heavily infested. So these are our major achievements.
I can see how you are working hard to raise the fund and to working hand in hand in every Ethiopian who is concerned. But some say that it is impossible to totally erase the weed. Rather, it's only possible to hamper its expansion. What is your reflection on this?
We can control the weed. Total elimination can be a very hard task. But our goal is to contain the weed in such a way that it no more causes any environmental impact. So now we have over 5,000 hectare area of weed infestation. So our first goal should be, let's clear this area.
Is that even possible, clearing the whole area?
Clearing the area is possible. But it's possible, but it needs hard work. So we need, in addition to the mechanical, using the machines and people campaigns, we also need other measures. So that's why we are closely working with the University of Bahar Dar to look at how we can engage the biological control approach. And the third approach we are looking at is chemical. There are, in US, we use chemicals. There are environmentally friendly chemicals which have no impact on the environment. So we need to start to study this. We are not going to implement it, but let's study it at the university level, in the laboratory. Let's study it. Does it have any impact? Can we use it? Where can we use it? Which chemicals are environmentally friendly? After we identify this, we can progress to a semi-field test, and then we can roll it out in some of the cables where chemicals are feasible.
So we can say you are doing an assessment and you are going to have a pilot research and you are going to implement it. Yes. That's a good thing. So what will be the future direction of the coalition?
The future direction of the coalition is restoring the lake, and our big aim and our big objective is how can we have an environmentally friendly Lake Tana and Lake Tana watershed. So the regional government recently gave us an assignment where to develop a long-term master plan for the lake and the watershed. It's a huge assignment. We are pulling together as many diverse experts from different areas in the world. So what's so interesting about this initiative is people are volunteering. I'm coming here volunteering. People are coming over the past several months. People were coming here volunteering. So there are so many people, knowledgeable experts who have worked in the area in environment and water, which want to help this exercise. So our main goal is to bring these people together and then sit down with them. And let's have a master plan so that when the regional government or any stakeholder wants to do a developmental work around the lake, which areas they should work and how should they work, and which areas that should not be touched at all, because there are some buffer zones that you should not touch which affects the lake. So once we have this master plan, I think it's a major achievement, And our objective is once we have this master plan, the federal government can implement our exercise, which we did here, to other lakes in the country, so that we can have the Lake Tana as a model.
Okay, so tell me if I get it right. You are saying is like in any developmental project, before implementing the project, we need to do an environmental impact assessment.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So with having an appropriate skill, knowledge, and resources, can you predict the time? Like how long do you take to erase or to restore Lake Tana? Can you estimate the time?
That's a very difficult. Our objective is 5 years. In 5 years, we need to move from what we are now, which is controlling stage, to a well-controlled environment where we shouldn't see any water hyacinth on Lake Tana. So 5 years should be enough to progress from the controlling to prevention and doing environmental management activities, restoration activities like reforestation. Because the major challenge of the lake is it has all the forest around the lake, around the watershed has been cleared, and that has caused during the rainy season there is a huge erosion and loam soil that's eroded by during the rainy season and joining the lake, and that's affecting. So we need to move from the control approach to the prevention. So that's our objective.
So Dr. Salamon Kibret, thank you for joining me in the studio today and for giving me a briefing on the restoration of Tana. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.